Okay, take 1 million. Let's just hope that everything works out this time around. This is insanity. Okay, I'll skip that brief intro. And the AC's open. It's gonna be open. It's been open for a while. Nothing I can do about it. It's gonna be in the background, so enjoy it. Might as well be all laid up, chilling while you're watching this video or listening to it. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the wall of ignorance and what it is from my perspective and how it's implemented in almost our day-to-day life, especially in our day and age today in the year 2021. If you're well aware of what's happened over the past year, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Just, in an effort to make things go smoothly. I won't mention it by name. But I define the wall of ignorance as one, an attempt for somebody to discredit somebody else's argument. Now, sometimes it is valid, sometimes it isn't, and I'll get into that later. And the second part is a shaming tactic. That's how I perceive it, because I've seen it being implemented in those contexts. So, yeah. Now, what the wall of ignorance is whenever you're talking to people, just a general discussion about whatever it is that you want to talk about, oftentimes what will happen is somebody will have a weaker argument or a weaker stance on something, and all it takes is a little push in order to, I guess for a lack of better words or lack of better phrasing, is to convert them to the other side, is to have them drop whatever belief they have on a particular topic and to just accept the others. Now, in these kinds of situations, it shows up as you presenting your point based on whatever experience you've had, whatever research you've done, hopefully, and you standing by that argument, but somebody else, through their disagreement with you, they want to discredit your argument to not only prove you wrong, but to also accept their argument. Now, that's just life. Throughout your interactions with people, it's just what's going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it. And yes, sometimes you'll be right, and sometimes you'll be wrong. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it matters more so with the topics that really have an impact either on an individual, community, or the world. What I want to do is I want to preface this by saying, always do your research before talking about something. Never, ever indulge in the whole fake it till you make it act, where you act like you know what you're talking about, where you start to genuinely believe what you're talking about even though you know it's based on nothing, and then projecting confidence when you talk about it with other people. Because if you're dealing with people who know exactly what they're talking about, regardless of what they do or whatever tactic they use, be it the wall, what I like to call the wall of ignorance, but I'm talking about it in the negative sense, or anything else, they'll discredit you. But even worse is you'll convince people who either A, don't have a solid argument to defend their stance on a particular thing, or B, just outright don't know what they're talking about, but they see you talking with confidence, so they believe you. You're just spewing ignorance. And then other people will tag on to that, and other people will tag on to that based on who you are or what kind of reach you have when you're dealing with people. That's not a good thing. Ignorance is not a good thing under no circumstance. So always remember that when you're interacting with people and you're going to talk about a particular topic, always do your research. Always. 1. 2, there's no shame in admitting either you're wrong or that you need to look into it some more. You're better off doing that than you are to continue being wrong or unsure when you're talking to other people. And another thing I wanted to say about this wall of ignorance is it's always made up of diplomas. Now, we know that people value those who have walls of diplomas, even though, just between you and me, doesn't mean anything. A wall of diplomas only means that you went through a specific set of courses or institution or program and that you passed and got out of it. That's it. That says nothing about knowledge. That says nothing about logic, unbiased logic. So it's always propped up, and it's one of the arguments that I'm focusing on is when people are saying that you don't have this degree, therefore you don't talk about it. It reminds me of other contexts where people will say, well, you're not this race or ethnicity, therefore you can't talk about this. Or you're not in this community, so you can't talk about this and that. And the arguments go on and on. They prop it up in an effort to discourage the person talking and in an effort to get them to just accept the mainstream, just to accept what everybody else is going along with. And in situations like that, that's what I have a problem with, and that's what I always earmark as the wall of ignorance. So don't run into it. Always stand your ground. Even in the event that you don't know what you're talking about, or in the event that you need to learn more, always indicate that, make that clear. There's no shame in being honest and direct. Go do your due diligence and come back. And if your view on something changes and it favors the person who structured their argument in whatever way, then that's fine. Because you've done your research, you have an unbiased view on whatever the outcome is, and you just move on with your life. So, going back to when I talked about it being a shaming tactic, the wall of ignorance, now there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion, so long as it's geared towards somebody who has genuinely not done their research about any particular topic, in an effort to hopefully nudge them in the right direction and just have them actually do their unbiased research. And then hopefully, their perspective is straightened out and they have a clearer point of view on it. But it is not okay when it's aimed at somebody who has done their research, reasoned, because that's just one of the things that we do as human beings. Especially when it comes to reading. You can watch videos, you can listen to podcasts, that's fine. But always read, because the mind has a way of just structuring things and just reasoning things out in an unbiased manner, hopefully, which also involves you being honest with yourself at all times, especially when you're exploring a topic that you may or may not have that much of an understanding about. So make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's, or you cross your T's and you dot your I's, or whatever the saying is. Now, how do you overcome the wall of ignorance? Just like I said, you do your research. And I'm emphasizing this for the millionth time already, your unbiased research. Meaning, if what you think you thought beforehand is wrong, set it aside. Approach whatever the topic is like you're a fresh canvas, and you're looking to add on some genuine, well-cited, authentic information that will help you paint a more authentic picture of whatever it is that you're looking to talk about. And how do you respond when you're in a situation like that? Like I said, honesty is the best policy. Always be honest, always be clear, and always be direct. If you don't understand something, or if you realize you don't know that much about something like you should, because you should have done your research, then it's crucial to just make that clear, to not continue spewing ignorance, to not continue spewing things that you're not even sure is right, but you just want to make yourself feel better and just stand your ground and move forward. Tell them you'll get back to them, because there's nothing wrong with debates. Debates are what you're going to have throughout your lifetime. Always, in any human interaction, especially when it's for a prolonged period of time, be it with family or friends, you're eventually going to get into a debate on whatever the topic is. So you better have made sure that you've done your due diligence. And always be respectful when you're interacting with people. Always. A sign of weakness is blatant disrespect when you're having some dialogue with somebody. Don't ever disrespect people, even in the event that they're wrong. Don't ever shut them down. Don't ever attempt to prop up the wall of ignorance from your end to discredit their argument. You want to make sure that if you're ever going to discredit somebody's argument, or they're going to discredit yours, that it's all based on facts. Now, with that being said, I hope that that's something that will get you guys to think about what it is that you're doing, what it is that happens usually in interactions with other people, and just how to overcome it. So with that being said, remember, always ask yourselves, what are you doing today that'll make the world a better place tomorrow?